Hello everyone, we're back with our Jump in Jan kind of challenge for 2023 and we're taking a look at junction objects today. So junction objects are a way of creating what we call a many-to-many relationship. Now the easiest way I find to understand junction objects is to actually just put yourself in a situation where you need a junction object and then go and create one and see what happens. So we're going to do exactly that today. I'm here in my Salesforce org. If you've been following along, we're up to jobs. We've created this custom jobs object here, which is a pretty standard Salesforce example. And if we go new, you'll have a look at what we already have, which is just a very basic object. It's got a name, it's got a title, it's got a position field, a salary, and then this contact field where you can relate a contact to this job. Now, this sounds great. Our contact field is a master detail relationship, but this runs into a wall pretty quickly where we say, well, what if multiple people want to apply for this job? And this little box here only lets one person at a time apply. You know, at this rate, you'd have to copy the same job for as many applications as there were, which would just take forever. So what we actually want to be able to do is say, well, for this one job, we want there to be multiple contacts that can apply for this one job. All right, so let's just put an example in here. Okay, this is our Salesforce admin job, maybe Jan 2023. The role name is Salesforce administrator. It's got an awesome job description, which we're not going to write here. It's got an awesome salary. And then if we save this, then we'll be able to see that this only lets us link one person. So this is not a many-to-many. This is what we call a many-to-one. All right, so the one here is the job, because if I open up this contact, then I can actually relate this contact to multiple different jobs. So what's his name? Where'd he go? Old Bob Billy here, all right, can be the one contact for maybe 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4, 10, 20, 50. He might be the one contact selected for all of these different jobs, which means that on his contact record, if we went into related, then we would be able to see, oh look, Bob Billy is actually involved in 20 different jobs. So we can have a contact go to multiple different jobs, but we can't have one job be related to multiple contacts. That's what we call a many-to-many relationship, when you have one object that is related to many of a second object, and that second object can be related to many of the first. We call that a many-to-many relationship, and that's exactly what we're trying to create here, where one person, one contact, can apply for many jobs. So they can have many jobs here. We've actually already done that, tick, with our current solution. What we haven't done is made it so that one job can have many contacts. So this is where it gets a little tricky. What do we do? And the answer is a junction object. A junction object just means that it's a new object that sits in between the two objects that you're trying to have a many-to-many relationship with. So in our case, we've got contacts, we've got jobs, and we need to create a junction object which sits in the middle of them in order to create that many-to-many relationship. We're going to call that junction object job application. Okay, enough chit-chat, let's get into it. The first thing that I'm going to actually do is remove this lookup field here, because these objects, job and contact, aren't going to be talking directly to each other. They're going to be related through our junction object. So if I go to my job here, here's my master detail. I do actually want to just delete this. All right, we've all read these. Make sure that you have read these if you haven't, especially if you're studying for an exam, because they will ask you about it. All right, so we've deleted our master detail relationship. Awesome, not too bad there. And what we want to go ahead and do is create our junction object. So I'm going back to Object Manager, and we're actually going to create a brand new custom object. Now We're going to call this one job application. Job application. All right, description. The junction object between job and contact objects to allow multiple contacts to apply for one job and multiple jobs to be linked to one contact. So Kevin might apply for 10 different jobs, but one job that he's applied to might have 100 different applicants, and that's exactly what we're creating here. All right, so we're just going to read our way through these. We've done a video on custom objects if you want to check that out earlier in the series. Allow reports, allow activities, allow field history, allow in chatter, always good. Deployed, I always like to allow search because everyone uses the search bar to search for absolutely everything. So it's always good to have, add notes and attachments, and launch the new custom tab wizard. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Excuse me there, Salesforce. I will just add this in, job applications. All right, and we'll save. It's taken us to the tab screen where we're creating a new tab for our job application object. So I'm going to choose a funky tab style, best part of the day. Job application. What are we going to go for? Let's go for something random, like a helicopter. See what comes up, hey? All right, next. Who can see it? We're playing default on to everyone. Include it on every app. We're saying this is super cool and important. Everyone should be able to see it. And then maybe in here we put in some fields and relationships. So what sort of thing would we want to have on our job application? What sort of fields? Maybe we want, some different text. We might go a long text. What could be on our job application? Maybe education. We're just going to go quickly through these. All right. Obviously, if you're doing this yourself, you'd want to put a bit more time and thought into it if it was for an actual job or an actual company. But when you're learning about these, then you can get quite fast. So maybe we do another text field, and I might call this one work history. All right. Let's have a look. Next. Save and new. And then what else do we need? Work history. Maybe some references. How's that? And I think that would be enough for now. I think maybe thinking, what about name? What about email? What about phone number? We put all of that in the contact, and then we're relating the contact to this job application. All right, so I've created my new job application object, and if I come back into my app, you always want to check. We're always testing at every single point. The more you can test, the better, and the more often that you test, the less you're going to make bigger mistakes down the line. So I'm just refreshing my page here, and we're going to check out in this More tab our job applications. Make sure our tab is working fine. And my job applications here. Cute. Look at that helicopter. That's adorable. I'm going to go new. Here it's got my job application name. So I might say Tina applying for Salesforce admin role, education, best work history, best references. Whatever they've put in here, all right. Then we'll go ahead and save it. This is just to get a look, does this work? It looks all right, but what we really want to do here is create some relationships on this object with our contact so that we can actually see who is this person who's applying, and then also with our job, so that on our job application we can see, all right, this is the person, and this is the job that they're applying for, and this right here is their job application. So coming back into setup, I'm going into fields and relationships, and to create our junction object, we actually need two master detail relationships. Now you can only ever have 2 master detail relationships on a object at a time. You can never do more than that. So we're pushing things to the max. So I'm just going to go next here. Who are we relating this to? Let's do our contact first. All right, next. I just realized, you know what it's going to tell us? That this isn't good enough. So I'm just going to delete this. All right, because if we don't delete this, then when we go to try and create our master detail relationship, it's not going to be very happy with us. Okay, contact. All right, pretty happy with that. I'm moving fast because we have talked through all of these things in detail in earlier videos. But if you'd like to go and learn more about some of these settings, then you can check out the previous videos. So in here, this is our contact field. In fact, I'm just going to go back and add some help text. So I might say this is the person who applied for the job, just to make things a little clearer. All right, it's visible to everyone. Next. All right, and then I'm going to go save a new, and I'm going to create another master detail relationship, and this one's going to be to the job object, so that we've got these 2 relationships, and it's creating this one as the junction object in between. So here's our job object. We'll go next. All right, it's looking pretty good. In my help text, I might say job that this person is applying for. Next. All right, next again, and save. Wonderful. All right, let's go and check this out. So I'm back in my app, we're testing it. All right, we need to go and create a new job applications object. Sorry, a new job applications record, and check that this all worked as expected. So here's our job applications, we're going new. And because we created these as master detail relationships, there's going to be a few new required fields. Oh, or maybe not. Let's just double check that these were put in. Contact, master detail relationship. Job, there you go, master detail. So they are there. Let's do another refresh. We'll wait and see. All right, come on, job applications. We're going to go new. Let's check it out. And if you're following along, you should also be testing this too. Interesting, it doesn't look like it's actually super loaded the page yet, but I'm curious to see what it will do. So let's just give it a name. All right, so maybe Bertha, I think is the name of contact. Job app. Yeah, I thought so. So it is asking for those fields, but it doesn't look like it's added into the page layout yet. So let's go and check out our page layout. Just make sure those fields are there. If they're not, then we can just add them in. If they are there, it's just Salesforce being slow, isn't it? Oh, they are there. But just because I'm a bit picky while I'm here, I'm just going to rearrange them a bit because I like to have things that are a bit more, they look nice. You know what? Things that look nice here. So I just save that. Then I come back here and I might just close that and do a hard refresh. Come on. Surely this one's going to work this time. Sometimes this is what Salesforce is about, you know, but the important thing here is to know when is it Salesforce's fault and when is it my fault. I like to tell people blame Salesforce first. So just, you know, go back and check that everything, is in line for you, but often it is unfortunately something to do with Salesforce. So I'm going new again. I'm just noticing that it's really not liking this. So I'm going to open up a new app and we'll see what comes up. I also just close some of these other tabs. Do another refresh. Yeah, and we'll have a look because we really want to test this out. We want it to be working. And it's always good to make sure that, you know, it's working for you first before you go and start giving this to everyone in the org. So I'm in a new app now. This is my service app. You notice it's got a few less tabs, which is quite nice sometimes. But there's my job applications. So I'm going to go new. Here we go. All right, just needed a bit of time. So I'm going to call this one Bertha job application number 1. Education could be whatever, work history, same. And then notice that it's got my 2 required fields because these are master detail row fields, so they're always going to be required. And it's got my contact, who I think I'm sure that there's a Bertha. Is there a Bertha? Maybe there's not. No Bertha. What do we have? Anyone? I think there was a Bob, wasn't there? There you go, Bob Billy. All right, and what job is he applying for? The Salesforce admin role. Okay, so now I can save this, which is fantastic. And then now I have my contact and my job, and my contact can now apply for multiple different jobs, and my job can be applied for by multiple different people, all because I've created this junction object, which is my job application. So on my contact, if I go and check out Billy's contact now, then in my related list, I'll be able to see a related list for the job applications, which is awesome. So now I can see these are all of the jobs that Billy has applied for. And same down here, if I go to my jobs here and then in related, I'll be able to see, oh look, here are all the job applications for this particular job. So this has created a many-to-many relationship. If you are confused about junction objects, about master detail objects, about many-to-many relationships, I would really encourage you to do this exercise yourself. Just walk through it exactly as I have. Pause this video when you need to, because it is the best way to learn, 100%, is to jump in and give it a go yourself. So let me know how you go, and until then, we'll see you next time.